Hello and welcome. A little bit of Switzerland and worldwide stamps in this video. So let us get started. Switzerland. In this video, a few details about identifying some issues of 1882 to 1907. The three important security features are impressed control marks, two types, and a watermark and granite paper. So any of these were used as security markings. To get the correct catalog number, it is vital to measure perforations as well. Impressed control mark may not be easy to see, but the arrows kind of outline a little bit, kind of like an oval, and then you have the cross in the middle. Granite paper, I'm not sure either if you can see that, but red fibers and blue fibers, which is typical. And finally, the Swiss watermark. Here is a partial Swiss cross. Also may not be easy to see. And here a partial and another one over here. So I have a better view out of a catalog on this one. So I'll show you. Here they are. Here's the control mark, what it looks like. It is impressed. It's not a watermark. And it comes in the type 1 at 8.4 millimeters from arrow to arrow, or in a type 2, 8.85 millimeters. And these are the two sizes. And the cross too varies in a little bit in size. It's a little skinnier on, I believe it was the type 2. And here's the watermark again, the Swiss cross, which is kind of multiple crosses. And so you can see certain fragments and sometimes full crosses viewing the stamp from the back. And a catalog gauge lined up with the center of the impressed cross of the control mark, in this case the type 2, or if that is not possible, then measure with a millimeter scale. And here's the lower half of the impressed control mark. Sometimes they're not very easy to measure or detect. Some are nicely impressed, but others not so well. So you have to be very careful on that. And yeah, here we have a bunch of lookalikes and yet so different. On the left, in type 2 in granite paper, a 3 Ruppen stamp cataloging $16. Type 2 in the middle with granite paper, but with the color gray for $72.50. And finally, the watermark granite paper catalog $140. So as you can see, there are pretty good differences in value, and so it is important to check them closely. And here are a couple of more examples. On the left, the type 1 granite paper at $40 catalog value, and on the right, a type 1 with white paper at, yes, $375. Now, there is quite a difference, almost 10 times. So it could be worth your while to check closely, very closely. And some more. On the left, we have a type 1 white paper, perf 11.5 to 11.75. In the middle, a type 1 white paper, but a perf 11.5 by 11. So already the value is somewhat different. And on the right, a type 2 white paper, perf 11.5 by 12, and that is quite a difference at $350. So as we can see, perforations do play a real critical role, as well as, whether it's white paper, granite paper, watermarked, or embossed with a security mark. Yeah, so a lot of things to check for. Sometimes can get confusing, but a little patience can pay off. And yeah, I forgot to mention on the previous series, the numerals, they only do come in a perf 11.5. In the Helvetia series shown on this page, do have many perforation variations in combination with paper and watermark and so on. So a lot to look for. And here again we have a type 1 on white paper at perf 9.5 at $100. And with this coarse perforation 9.5, it is not uncommon to have uneven perforations, short here, short there, and in various places, all around. So that's because they're so coarse and they don't like to separate so easily. And at that time, they probably didn't fold it back and forth prior to separating them from the sheet. So this is what we end up with. And on the right, a type 2 on white paper, perf 11.5 by 12, and that one catalogs at $55. Oh, again, pretty decent differences. And again, watermarked on the left, granite paper, perf 11.5 by 12 at $77.50, and a watermarked 3 franc on white paper, 11.5 by 11 at $230. Switzerland again. A security measure on this issue is a colored silk thread, which also serves of just one of a few identification characteristics. So just thought I mentioned it. Happened to have this one just handy, so here it is. And this one is in relatively decent condition because it's pretty close to a 4 margin. So that's always nice. Oftentimes they are clipped or damaged in other ways. So it's nice to find a good example. And then we jump to Germany, the neighbor of Switzerland. A mint not hinged issue of 1948 with a catalog value of $18. Not a whole lot. Perf variations, however, and other varieties list with much better values. So also check these closely. And Perhaps a standard catalog, in all likelihood, will not go into more details than just the basic set. So if you collect the area, it's always a good idea to have good reference material. I really place a lot of value on that. And most of the time, if not all the time, it usually pays off. And then we go to France, another neighbor of Germany and Switzerland. An early 1940s mint not hinged booklet pane, a listing in a 2003 French series catalog is about $50. Not a big amount since the cost on this one was $25. But it is a very nice and well preserved item and quite interesting with all the attached labels on the stamps and so on and so forth. So quite a nice item, I thought. And how often do you see such an item? At least I have not much. And then over a long ways away to China. Issues of 1942 to 1944. Both stamps at a glance appear to be imperforated, but only one of them is. Huh, strange, huh? Well, let's take a closer look. And you probably already spotted it. All you watchers out there have eagle eyes, and I'm sure you have spotted the difference between the two. And here it is. The right stamp is faintly rouletted, faintly, yes, and easily overlooked as such. Especially top and bottom are not well rouletted, and maybe, yeah, I don't know, maybe they were more torn apart than by folding them back and forth, weakening the spot and then separating them. I'm not sure. It's hard to say. But all the arrows point to the little bits that are left from the rouletting. So that was a pretty coarse rouletting that they did on this particular stamp. And you can see on the left stamp no such indicators, and it is actually imperfect. And that again concludes this video. I hope you enjoyed at least a little of it, and I'm so grateful that you have watched my video. Thank you so very much. Yeah, as it is with many country stamps, checking details, checking for varieties. Yes, it can be rewarding because every now and then a nice item will turn up. But we have to have the patience and examine them in very detail. So I wish all of you good success, and please do stay healthy. That's the most important. Until we meet again. Bye bye. My channel, Stamp Space, My Fun Things.